wanted to make a little video and talk about my most recent trip to Peru because it was so great and I loved it. And so I'm just going to show you a few pictures and just kind of talk about what we did, just in case you're interested, I guess. We flew to Peru from Charleston. It was not too long of a trip, except we had a really long layover in Dallas, which when we first booked the flight, I was like, oh, that's fine, because my sister lives in Dallas, so we can spend the day with her. But then my sister was moving to Austin, so I was like, oh, shit. Well, we're just gonna have to spend the whole day at the airport then, because we literally had like a 13-hour layover. My boyfriend kept being like, you should text your sister and tell her that we're gonna be there. And I'm like, no, she moved already. I saw the picture of their new house. Like, I don't want to bother her because I don't want her to feel like she has to drive back to Dallas just to spend the day with us. As we're leaving in Charleston, so it was like 6 in the morning from Dallas time, I text my sister and I'm like, oh, it's too bad you moved to Austin because we're gonna be in Dallas for like the whole day. And she was like, we haven't moved yet. So lovely sister that she is, she like totally rearranged her plans for the day and came and got us from the airport, and we spent the day with my nephews and niece and her and my brother-in-law, and we got to have lunch and dinner with them, and it was really great. And I'm so glad that she did that, and I'm kind of an idiot for not knowing that she hadn't moved yet. So then after that long layover, it was like we had like a 10:30 red-eye flight to Lima. So we get on the flight, and of course we did not have any room. We are both over 6 foot. I'm 6'4", he's 6'2". And I can't sleep on planes anyway, so like I knew that this was gonna be a very long plane ride, and it was. And of course the person reclined onto my knees, and I was like, I can't move, but all right, this is fun. I actually was pretty proud of myself because I had to pee and I didn't want to wake her up. And I actually climbed out over her and climbed back in without waking her up, which was pretty impressive. And it would have been really awkward if she'd have woken up because my... We were scheduled to land at like 5:10, and then our pilot just got us in early. So it was like literally before 5 a.m. before we landed. And I didn't get like any sleep on the plane, maybe like, you know, half hour here and there. So then we go through customs, we get into the actual airport, and then our flight out isn't until like 10:40 or something. So I actually managed to get like a good nap in on the airport chairs because they didn't have the handles in between, so I was able to like actually lie down because it was pretty empty. So that was good. I got a nap. So then finally we get on the plane, we fly to Cusco. We land in Cusco at like 1 p.m. Now Cusco is at elevation. Pretty much everything we read said don't plan to get to Cusco and go on a trek the next day. You need to give yourself time to acclimate. Unfortunately, we decided not to take that advice because we didn't like quite realize how close we were cutting it when we were booking everything, partly because we did have the red eye, so that kind of like messed up our planning. So we got to Cusco at 1 o'clock. We were super tired because we hadn't slept. So we kind of walked around a little bit. We tried to take it easy. I wasn't very hungry, which I don't know if it was a combination of airplanes and altitude or whatever. But Cusco was super cute, and we went to this crepe place that was absolutely amazing. Oh my god, the grapes were so good, and it was super cute. It was like French and Peruvian. Unfortunately, we weren't super hungry, so we couldn't like totally indulge in all the crepes that we wanted. We didn't get to try their sweet crepes, but their savory crepes were super delicious. So then we had to go to our trekking place, and we had to finish paying for it because we paid a deposit online and we had to pay in cash for the rest. So that was a whole adventure because we had to figure out how we were going to get like $840 US American dollars in Cusco. I ended up having to go to an ATM and make like 5 different withdrawals because there was like a withdrawal limit. I had to contact my bank and increase my ATM, the daily ATM withdrawal limit, go to this ATM, withdraw all this cash, and then I have to walk around with like so much cash on me, and it was like, this is ridiculous. Didn't like that at all. But we got there, we paid the people our money, and then we like met our tour guide, and they kind of told us what to expect. We got our duffel bags. We had to go back to our hotel. We had to pack our duffel bags that we were going to take with us, and then pack the bag that we were going to leave behind at the hotel. And they told us that they were going to come get us at 4:15 or 4:10 the next morning, and that they didn't know what order they were going to come in. So they were going to pick up the first person at 4:10, and it may or may not have been us. So we were like, okay, shit, so we have to be ready by 4:10. We might just be sitting there for like 20 minutes while I pick up everyone else, because there was 12 of us in this trekking group. So I want to take a shower in Cusco before we go, because it's going to be my last chance to shower for a while, because we're going like trekking. And so when I travel, I try to travel pretty light, and one of the things that I don't usually bring with me is shampoo and conditioner, because that's like almost every hotel I've ever been to has had that. And so I get in the shower, there's two little packets there's like soap and there's like two little packets. I grab the packets, I get in the shower, shampoo my hair, and I go to condition it, and I realize the other packet is also shampoo. So I'm in the shower and I'm like, shit. And my boyfriend's like, what's the matter? And I was like, no conditioner. He's like, okay, let me go ask the front desk. Yeah, ask the front desk. No, they don't have conditioner. So he's like, I'm gonna go to this little store that we saw on the way. It's like a block away. I'm like, okay. So and the whole time I'm standing in the shower. So he goes to the store, he comes back, he's like, they didn't have conditioner either. So I was like, okay. So I didn't condition my hair, which I cannot remember the last time I shampooed my hair without conditioning it. It is horrible for my hair, and especially when I have my bleached hair. So like, and I had, because I normally bring hair product with me, like a little oil, but it was kind of an awkward shaped bottle, and so I didn't bring it this time. So I literally had no hair product, no nothing. I was like, oh my God. So my poor ends are just like destroyed. My hair was awful. I tried to put lotion in it, just was like anything to save it. It was pretty bad. I like couldn't comb it. It was awful. My poor hair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, hair. It's okay. I was due for a haircut in June anyway, so I'm just gonna have to cut off a little more than I intended. But anyway, if you're going to Cusco, bring conditioner. So after that fiasco, we go to bed. We get up at like 3:45. We go down to the lobby. They come pick us up pretty shortly thereafter, probably around 4:20. I'm a little worried at this point that I haven't had a lot of time to A, sleep, and B, acclimate to the altitude, but I'm like, whatever, I can handle this. We have to take this van to like our starting point, and it's like a 2-hour van ride, and I get car sick pretty easily. So, and this road that we were on was like, poof, 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 and we're kind of in the back, it's like, boo. So needless to say, I'm feeling like really crappy, and I'm just like lying there with my eyes closed, just like, oh my God, I can stop. And so we finally get there, and of course, and I feel immediately better as soon as I get out of the van, so I'm good, because I was like really worried. I'm like, how much of this is car sickness and how much is altitude sickness? But no, I get out of the van and I'm feeling a lot better, so I go to breakfast, eat the breakfast, it's fine. And I don't know why, I think there was like, we had to stop so that they could like buy supplies on the way, which was kind of weird that they hadn't already done that. But we ended up getting a really late start, so we didn't start trekking until almost like 9:30 that first morning. And they said usually they like to leave by 8:30, so they were really worried that we weren't going to reach the campsite in time before dark. Because it's May is fall in Peru, right? So the days are actually pretty short-ish. Like sunset was around like 6. So anyway, so we get started, and they'd given us like an overview of what to expect, and they basically told us the first day was like the hardest day, and they'd really built up the fact that after lunch we were gonna go up these huge, like straight up these like switchbacks for like an hour. So all day, like all morning, I'm thinking like, oh my God, this is the easy part. Like after lunch, I have to climb more. And we were climbing a lot in the morning, so like we're walking, and I'm like feeling okay, and then I just start to get so tired, but I'm like, no, gotta keep walking, and we were taking breaks. Our guide was like talking to us and everything, but by the time we stopped for lunch, I was like totally dead, and I'm just thinking, how am I gonna survive? Like, I'm not gonna make it up this mountain. And that's like, I think I'm a pretty fit person. I work out like 4 times a week. I walk like as much as possible, like bike places. And I was getting my butt kicked by this mountain, like so bad. Like they were actually kind of worried about me. They made me like do they had a little finger clamp thing where they take the oxygen in your blood, and they made me do that at lunch because I think they were worried that they were gonna make me ride the horse up, which I really didn't want to do because 1, I don't want to admit defeat, and 2, I don't like riding horses. They scare me. I've only done it like once, and it was in Guatemala, and it was not a good experience. Anyway, but they said I was okay. It was on the lower end of what is normal for that altitude, but they said I wasn't gonna die, pretty much. So, but anyway, so then after lunch, I'm like, here I am, like thinking like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. If the morning almost killed me, the afternoon's gonna be even worse. And then I got up the switchbacks in like 45 minutes, like no problem. Like I got tired and I had to take a couple breaks, but it was like nowhere near as bad as the morning. So I had this all built up in my mind, and it turned out the worst part was actually the morning. So it was totally psychological. But in the meantime, like the whole time, so I'm feeling kind of terrible, but around us was just the most amazing, beautiful views, and it's like kind of unbelievable. Like, and of course it starts to rain. I'm like, we thought this was the dry season, and they're like, yeah, but it rains up here like pretty much all the time during the dry season too. So that was fun to know. So they gave us ponchos, and they told us that they were gonna give us ponchos, but I was like no way, I don't want to use their ponchos because I figured they were going to be like big garbage bags, which they were. So I had brought my own like little sort of more durable version of a poncho, which was like $8 or something. And I'm really glad I did that because it was way more like, yeah, more durable. Like my boyfriend's poncho, like the hood was ripping and like they're huge and baggy and they're like wind everywhere. So I'm really glad I brought my own poncho. And I was in bright pink when everyone else was in this horrible green color. So I really stand out in all the pictures because, you know, I don't stand out enough already. Okay, so this first picture is from the first day. This is just like a random corner that we turned. This was like everywhere. Everywhere you looked was beautiful and amazing and looked up like something out of a fairy tale or a movie, and it was so insane. And you just have to kind of stop and be like, wow, like I'm here, I am doing this. I'm hiking the Andes Mountains. And here is another picture from later in the day. There's these little streams and rivers just like everywhere, and the fog and the mist was just like rising out of the mountains. And it totally reminded me, I don't know if you've ever read The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis, but it totally reminded me of Puddleglum and Eustace and Jill journeying with the giants throwing stones at each other. It was super cool. Totally amazing. So on the first day we reached the highest elevation that we were going to, which was the Salcantay Pass, and it was 4,100 meters, 4,600 meters. It was super high, I'm not gonna lie. And it was super cold and rainy. It was like sleeting / hailing into our faces because the wind was so strong. It was kind of miserable, but at the same time it was like we've summited this mountain, we want to like stop and enjoy it and like take pictures and everything, and at the same time it's like my hands were too cold to use my camera. And I actually, my boyfriend took more of the pictures and he has not uploaded them into our Dropbox folder yet, and so I don't have any of these pictures to show, so that's her. And he also took a lot of videos, which would have been fun to incorporate, but we'll just have to make do with my pictures, I guess. But so we reached that in about an hour after lunch, and that was the highest altitude, so I figured I'd be okay after that. So after that we started going down, and I felt a lot better going down. Whew, way easier. And it's just looking at all these beautiful sights, beautiful sights, beautiful sights. But then a couple hours into that, I started to feel really, really bad. Like headache, dizzy, lightheaded, sick to my stomach, just horrible. And I was like, oh my God. But we were still like 2 hours. So every time we'd ask the guy, he'd be like, oh, it's like another 45 minutes. And he said that for like 2 fucking hours. I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna finish. So we're falling farther and farther behind everybody else. And we're also stopping to take a ton of pictures, which like, I don't know if no one else wanted to take pictures or something, but like I couldn't help it. It was so beautiful. I had to take all these pictures. But we're falling farther and farther behind. They send the guy with the horse back and they're like, do you need to ride the horse? I'm like, no, I don't need to ride the horse. I feel terrible. I think I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna keep walking. It gets dark out by the time we get to the campsite, but we ended up only being like 10 minutes behind everybody else. And we're like, we have to go through this like pasture where they're keeping the horses, and it's dark and it's muddy and there's horse shit everywhere and you can't tell what's horse shit and what's mud because it's dark. And it was like, oh my God, I just like, I felt so sick. I can't even like express how terrible I felt. So we get there, and the nice thing about doing this trek, right, so you get to camp and like the porters have gone ahead of you with all your shit, and they've set up the tents and they've like made hot water and everything, so it's like you don't have to do shit when you go there. So I literally like crawled into my tent, like lied down. My boyfriend unrolled the sleeping bag. I didn't even get in it. He just put it on me with like a blanket, and I was lying there. I'm like shaking. I can't get warm. I feel like I thought once we stop I'll feel better. I did not feel better. I was like just lying there. It came time for dinner. I like crawled out of the tent. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I go to dinner. I like feel like I can't eat anything. I eat the soup and like that's it. And everyone else is like having a good time and like laughing and talking, and I'm just like, I'm going back to bed. I can't do it. So I just went immediately back to the tent, laid down, tried to sleep. It was so cold. I'm like wearing like hat, gloves, in my sleeping bag with a blanket. But then they brought us by these big hot water bottles with hot water in them, and like I put it in my suitcase, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever felt in my life. So that was that night was bad. I felt so bad. But when I woke up in the morning, I felt a lot better. I kind of was able to eat some breakfast, so that was good. I felt a little bit more like a human being. I took this photo in the morning. This is like 6 o'clock in the morning. sun's just coming up. That's where we came from. So that mountain, I think to the left there is Sluckentai. We didn't go up where the snow is, obviously, but we came down through that pass. And yeah, it was totally beautiful. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, I came from all the way back there and I didn't die. So day 2, we spent pretty much entirely going downhill, which was nice. It was a lot easier, but it was also really hard on my knees. They started to hurt so bad. And day 2 was also, I believe, the longest day. So we hiked like all day long, and it was raining like all day too. So it was like, it was nice, but it wasn't as nice as it could have been. In the morning, we were hiking down this trail, and it was so muddy. Look at this picture. This is like not even the worst part. And it was like, that's my boyfriend's walking stick, and it's like submerged in the mud there. You can see how deep it is. And there were spots in the trail that were even worse than this. And you were just like trying not to fall, trying not to go swooshing down this fucking mountain. And, but then so when we stopped for lunch, they said, hey, the trail we would normally take from here, we can't take because with all the rain, it's a very high mudslide risk, like landslides. And so we're gonna have to walk on the road. And everyone was kind of like bummed about that. Obviously, it's walking on the road. I mean, it's not like a busy road, it's like a sand road or whatever. And you're still walking through the mountains, it's still pretty, but it's not as nice. So then they were like, well, if you want, you can go to the hot springs. So some people wanted to go to the hot springs and some didn't. I didn't really want to. I wasn't feeling it. It was not, I don't know. I just didn't want to make like this change of plans. Like I was like, I was here to hike, I'm gonna hike. So some of them ended up getting picked up and going to hot springs. But we hiked the rest of the way, and it was like another 5 hours from there because they said the road's a little bit longer than the trail that we would have taken. And at one point there was this little stream that went over the road, but since it had been raining so much, it was like really high. And so to cross it, there was just these little rocks on the edge, like literally on the edge of a waterfall, and you just had to cross on these rocks. And I was like, no fucking way. Like, I'm okay with heights, and like, no, I was not gonna do that. So we were like, tried to go upstream a little bit to find a better place to cross, but there was just bigger, smaller, like skinnier, but faster waterfalls there. So that didn't work. And one of the guys was like, here, I'll make a bridge for you. So he takes this big ass rock and he throws it into the stream to like try and give me a stepping stone, and it just whoosh, water all over me, all over my boyfriend, like horrible. And so then at this point, I'm like, okay, I just need to get across. So there's like a spot where it was like calm and a little bit shallower, and I was like, and wider, and I was like, I'm just gonna run across, whatever. In hindsight, I totally should have just taken my boots off and waded across, but no, I decided to run across the shallow part, and one of my boots are waterproof, and they were doing a really good job up until then, and then one of them, the water got in the tops, because they're not super high boots, it got in the tops, and so then I had a wet foot for the rest of the day. But I did not cross on those rocks. It was insane. I don't know how everyone else did it. And I don't have a picture of it, of course. So we walked the rest of that day, and it was like, by the end, it was literally like, okay, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 step. I can do it. It was a really long day. But we got to the campsite, and it was nice. I was now feeling like a lot better, so I actually ate like a ton of food, which was good, because I was like, at this point, I'd been walking for 38,000 steps or something. I was like, my body needs food. This picture is from day 3. So day 3 was a lot shorter day. We hiked in the morning a little bit down the road and then up a portion of the Inca Trail, which you can see here. So the steps are kind of one of the distinguishing features, right, of the Inca Trail. So this one kind of went straight up. We stopped at a little farm that farmed like everything, and they took us around and showed us how they harvest the potatoes and how they harvest the yucca and the coffee beans. And we got to pick some coffee beans, and then they showed us how they, you know, roast and process the coffee, and how they pick avocados, which was super cool. And the avocados are huge, and we're like, oh my god, these avocados are so big. And they're like, oh, those are like medium-sized avocados. We're like, no, they're enormous. They were like this big. So that was pretty cool. I think my boyfriend bought some honey while we were there that they made on their farm. They literally, like, they made everything on their farm. So after we go to the farm, they're like, we're on this trail, go climb it, take it at your own pace, we'll see you at the top. So it was kind of nice because we got to just hike on our own pace, and there was like these guys in our group that were super fast, and I didn't have to worry about it. I was just like, I'm gonna take my time. But it was such a steep climb, oh my god. Up, 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 up. And it was steeper probably than the first day, but we're at a lower altitude and I'm like more acclimated, so I didn't have a problem with altitude, but like just got so tired. And it was super hot this day, so the rain was gone, sun was out, all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I'm in like the jungle, there's bugs. Like, I don't have a big problem with bugs, but my poor boyfriend gets bit to death. So we're like all covered in sunscreen and bug spray and hiking up this fucking mountain. And we finally got to the top. We were actually right in the middle. So there was 12 of us. And so there were 5 people that got there before us and 5 people that got there after us. So I was like kind of proud that we were like not at the end. But when we got to the top, there was a crossroads. And we're like, our guide didn't tell us what way to go, and we haven't seen him yet. Like, what's going on? So we start like shouting, because we weren't the first people, and we knew we weren't the first people. So we're like, alpaca, alpaca, because that was the name of our expedition group. And we hear someone, oh, baby alpaca's over here. And so we're like, okay, cool. So we go over there, and we see the other people from our group. So not our guide, just the other people that have already made it to the top. So we are there hanging out, and so the cool thing about this particular mountain that we were on is that it overlooked Machu Picchu. So we actually got our first sight of Machu Picchu. So you can see in this picture here, the view from this little landing area that we found. And that right there in the middle is Machu Picchu. And so someone had binoculars, so we were able to like look and actually see it pretty clearly. And we took a bunch of pictures, and we were like just resting because we were super tired after that climb. And then it's been like over an hour, and we saw some of the other people from our group, but not everyone, and we're kind of getting worried at this point. Like, we don't think we're in the right spot. So we go back, and then we hear one of our guides, like somewhere in the wilderness, we hear him like calling and whistling. We're like, where are you? Where are you? So we go back to the crossroads. We finally meet one of our guides, and he's like, yeah, you guys went the wrong way. And we were like, well, how the fuck were we supposed to know? You were our guide. You didn't tell us where to go. He's like, you were supposed to wait for me at this one spot. And I was like, well, clearly your instructions were not clear, because like 10 of us ended up in one spot, and only 2 people ended up with you. Anyway, so at that point, then we went to where we were actually supposed to be, and they're like, oh, you can take pictures of Machu Picchu from here. We're like, we've just spent an hour taking pictures of Machu Picchu. We're like, we just want to go to camp at this point. Like, we're hungry, because we hadn't had lunch yet. It was like 2 o'clock. So he's like, okay, well, go down that path and you'll get to the campsite. So we went down to the campsite and had lunch, finally. Oh my God, so hungry. And then and from the campsite, we also still could have views of Machu Picchu. It was really pretty. It was gorgeous. And then there was like a big open field. And they had been all day like teasing, like, oh, we're gonna play the Peru Cup or whatever. So we were gonna play like the Peruvians versus the Truckers in soccer. Or football, and I was not interested in playing. I was so tired. My legs were totally dead. I was like, I don't know how you guys can play soccer right now. So I went into my tent, which almost got ran over when they were playing soccer because the field was right in front of the tent. But we ended up winning, so yay, us. But so it was fun. It was kind of like a nice little break. I mostly just read my book because I'm really boring like that. So we stayed overnight there, and then the next day, since we had just climbed this mountain, now we had to unclimb. That's totally a word. We had to descend this mountain. So a lot more downhill, which was like hard on my knees at this point. They're kind of starting to hurt pretty bad. I'm so glad I had a walking stick though. We bought walking sticks in Cusco, and that was like a super good idea. Although we couldn't bring them back because for some reason they don't like to let you have those on a plane. So we went down, which was it was a pretty nice hike. And then we finally got to the bottom, and it was like flat. It felt so nice on my legs to just take normal steps. Even just walking along to hydroelectric, which was, you know, just this flat part of this road, there's just this amazing like waterfalls and like gorgeous like views and vegetation, and it was very beautiful. And I really like this picture. It's like a meadow in front of a waterfall. From there, we had to hike to Aguas Calientes, which is the little city that's basically at the base of Machu Picchu. This was like probably the most boring part of the hike that we did, from hydroelectric to Aguas Calientes, because we were just walking alongside of train tracks. It was pretty. I mean, it was gorgeous. This is still Peru. It's still amazing. But at that point, we're like, we just want to get to Aguas Calientes because we're going to stay in a hotel in Aguas Calientes. So we just want to get there. I can take a shower. I can sleep in a real bed. Like, walking along the tracks, not so cool. But the cool thing about it is that as we were walking, you could see Machu Picchu. Like, you'd come around a corner, there it is, in the distance. You're getting closer. So that was like kind of cool. It was like kind of exciting. So like, we're going to go there tomorrow. This is like the destination that we finally got to. So we hiked all afternoon. It rained again because we have no luck. And we're all like the whole time we're like, this is supposed to be the dry season. Why is it raining? So we finally walked through the rain and everything, and we get to Aguas Calientes, and we're like so looking forward to our hotel, but we also have no idea what to expect the hotel because this was like a hotel that was booked by the expedition people. And we get there and ends up it's pretty nice. So that's like, oh, because I'm like worried we're gonna be in like some like super shithole, like, you know, barely better than a tent. But it was actually really nice, and I took a shower and they had conditioner. It wasn't very good conditioner, but they had conditioner. And I used it like 3 times and my hair was still like a mess. So then that night after we showered and everything, we had our final like group dinner. So we went to this restaurant and our chefs from the hike in the restaurant cooked us a meal. So it was like nice. And they gave us our shirts. So at the beginning they asked us what size shirt we were, and then at the end they gave us our shirts, and you'd think this is like pretty straightforward, but it totally wasn't. They were all mixed up. They like, some of them, so we were on the 5-day 4-night trek, and some of the shirts they gave out were like 2-day 1 night, some were like the 7-day 6 night. The whole thing with this alpaca expedition is like, we are green, so everything is this awful shade of green. But I got a t-shirt and I got my actual size, although we did discover that some of the sizes, the only difference seemed to be on the tag because they were all over the place. So I did get my t-shirt, and as you can see, it's green. And not just green, it's like green! Green happens to be my least favorite color, so I don't see myself wearing this very frequently. But it has the Alpaca Expedition logo on their website, and so here you can see there's the snake, which represents the underworld. There's the puma, which represents our world, and then there's a condor, which represents heaven, basically. And see if you can see the back. Woohoo! 5 days, 4 nights, and it has a little map of where we hiked. That was nice. I actually ended up wearing this in the airport when we traveled back on our last day, because it ended up being like the only clean like shirt that I had. One thing that made me laugh about the shirts is on the back. Oh, I had to laugh. Look at all these typos. Anyway, they're trying, bless their hearts. So if you go on one of these expeditions, don't have high hopes for your t-shirts, all I'm saying. But so then we went back to our hotel and tried to go to bed early because we had to get up at 4 o'clock again the next day so we could get on a bus to go to Machu Picchu. Yay! So basically there was like a huge, they told us that there would be a very long line even before the buses left, and the buses would start leaving at 5:30. So they were like, we should get in line at 4:30. We ate breakfast at the hotel at like 4, and then we left our duffels at the hotel and told them that they needed to be at the train station at 2 so we could go back to Cusco. And then we just took our day packs and went to stand in line. And there was already like so many people in line. It's not a joke. Like if you want to go first thing in the morning to Machu Picchu, get in line by 4:30. This actually ended up being a really good time because once the buses started moving at 5:30, we got on within like 10 minutes. The bus ride up to Machu Picchu was like insane. It's still dark out. I think it was raining, and like the bus is just going up these like hairpin turns, and they don't give a shit. They've done this a million times, right? And like you're going up a mountain and you can like see down every once in a while. I thought it was great. My boyfriend does not do well with heights, and he hated it. He like would not look out the windows. He was so terrified. He's like, we're gonna die. And I was like, we're not gonna die. We'll be fine. And we didn't die, so. So then we got to Machu Picchu and we got into the entrance, and you're kind of like, oh my god, there's like so many people, and you're like, oh, I've been up since 4 a.m. or like 3:45 a.m. actually. And then you walk up and you're like, oh, more stairs. I'm like so sick of climbing. I've climbed a fucking mountain, like 3 mountains actually. And then you walk up and you just like go out, and there's Machu Picchu. And it's so amazing. Like people say pictures don't do it justice, and pictures just don't do it justice. Like it's such a cliche to say that, but it's so true. It's like, it's great. You should go to Machu Picchu. So here's a picture I took. And since we were there so early, we're pretty lucky there, so there's not like a bunch of people down the road. Because if you get there later, like all your pictures are gonna have a ton of people in them. It's so crazy. This whole city just nestled into these mountains. You're so high up. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like, how did they get there? How did they build these? Like 500 years ago, what were they doing? It's insane. I loved it. So then you walk around, and the paths of Machu Picchu are pretty well, like there's only certain areas you can walk, and a lot of times there's only a certain direction you can walk on those paths, which is actually pretty nice because then you're not like fighting with people. But started walking around the ruins, and then we go over and I'm like, you see all of a sudden there's just a bunch of llamas. You're like, oh, and there's like this little, like very low string tied between some stakes. You're like, that's not gonna keep them out. So this is a picture I took of one of them. I thought he looked very majestically llama-like, but there was actually a bunch of them. And then just after we got like past the llamas, we see them all coming like, oh, like grouping together, and they're like coming over, and then they, yeah, totally disregard that little string. That doesn't mean shit to them. And we're like, what's going on? We hear one of the guys say, they really don't like dogs. So there was like a dog up there, and they were going to attack the dog and like drive the dog out of their area. And they did. The dog left. They won. I wouldn't fuck with the llamas in Machu Picchu. They smelled kind of bad, but other than that, they were really cool. So we walked around the rest of Machu Picchu. Our guide was with us, and he kind of, you know, gave us some of the history and talked about some of the stuff that was there, explained some of the different building styles that they had, what some of the significance of the buildings was. It was very cool. It was really nice to have a guide and have them explain some of that stuff to us. And then after we kind of made it through the main ruins, they were like, okay, well now you can just go do whatever you want. So some people had gotten tickets to climb Huayna Picchu, which is one of the mountains there, and you know, there's only a certain amount of people that are allowed to climb, so like you have to get your tickets early, and we hadn't done that. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be up for like climbing another mountain, so, because there's also Machu Picchu mountain that you can climb, and it's less popular and it's a little bit harder hike, and the tickets don't sell out as fast, so if you can't get the Huayna Picchu, you can usually get the Machu Picchu. But I was like, no. So we didn't do that, but like some of our other people in our group went to do that. So we just climbed the Sun Gate, which anyone can climb at the Sun Gate. And that was it was a climb. Like I was expecting it to be kind of short, because like they kept being like, oh, like Sun Gate, it's really easy. Like that's where you go if you don't want to climb on the mountains. But it was a hike. I was dead by the time we got to the top. I had to stop a couple times. But we did get some amazing pictures. So here's a picture from the Sun Gate. And that's Machu Picchu way down there, so it's not quite as short of a hike as you might think. And this road that you can see with all the hairpins, that's the road we came up on the bus. In the dark, in the rain, in a huge bus, passing other buses that are going back the other way. It was intense. So that was pretty cool. You definitely should, I think I'd recommend climbing to the Sun Gate. I just, like as we were going back down and I saw people coming up, I wanted to be like, you're not even close to the top yet. And after we went to the Sun Gate, we still had a little bit of time before we had to go back down to Aguas Calientes. So we went over to the Inca Bridge, which is a much shorter and not very much of a climb. It's more like a trail. But it is a very, very steep drop. And it, like, there's not a lot of, it's not like railing. There's a couple of parts where there's a wall, but a lot of times there's just a drop. Like you literally have to, when you get to the trailhead, you have to sign in, because like they want to make sure you don't fall off this mountain, because that's how steep it is. Which I thought was pretty cool. John was not happy with it, and I'm really proud. I can't believe he actually made it through this trail, honestly, but he did. And then when you get to the end, you see the Inca Bridge. Here's a picture of the Inca Bridge, and it's kind of hard, I guess, to see exactly what's going on, but look at that little piece of wood right there. That's the bridge. This here is the trail. They wouldn't actually let us go out onto this bridge, obviously. There was like a gate, but you could get pretty close to it, and it gives you kind of a good idea of what that trail was like. And it's crazy to me that like people used this trail. Like this was just out for a stroll with a freaking cliff 2 feet away. So then we went back down to Aguas Calientes and we had lunch, and we were on the earlier train, which I was actually really glad of, because it meant we didn't have quite as much time in Machu Picchu. But we got to see everything. Like the Inca Bridge was the last thing we wanted to see, so the timing ended up working out really well. And then we went to the train station, and of course our bags weren't there, so we were like, what do we do? So then John went to go back to the hotel to like be like, hey, where are our bags? And luckily he like crossed paths with the guy that was carrying them to the train. So we got our bags, we got on our train, we rode the train back to, so the train doesn't go all the way back to Cusco, it goes to, I believe, Ollantaytambo. So from there, we got to get into a van that was operated by our expedition people. And we took that back to Cusco, and that was another 2 hours. So it's kind of a long trip back, but it was really pretty. So then we get back to Cusco, and we were able to spend the night in Cusco. We went out to dinner. We went to this super cute restaurant. We had this most amazing fettuccine. Oh, it was so good with pesto. Oh, it was amazing. And then the next morning, we got to walk around Cusco a little bit because our flight wasn't until a little later. So this is a picture from the next morning of the main plaza in Cusco. It is very beautiful. And the sun was out, the weather was a little bit nicer, it wasn't raining. And then we had our flight back to Lima. And even the flight was amazing. Like, look at this picture from, I was in the window seat and I took this picture, just snapped it as we're flying back to Lima. It's like totally beautiful. Like every inch of the Andes is amazing, it seems like. When we got to Lima, we were actually staying in Lima for almost 2 days. And so when we were like looking up stuff to do, we were like, stuff to do in Lima. Like everything was like, don't spend any time in Lima, just spend all your time in Cusco. We were like, too late, we already like had already planned this. But it was actually nice. We had this, we stayed in this B&B down in Barranco, which is one of the like nicer suburbs of Lima. And it's right next to Miraflores. So the day we got there, we went down to Barranco and we had we tried authentic Peruvian ceviche, which was a little strange. I kind of just like, I liked it, but I couldn't finish it because it was just too much. It was just fish. It was a bowl of fish. I was like, I can't eat all this. And we got like one of the nicer ones that had like octopus and stuff in it, and I do not like octopus. It freaks me out, the suckers. But I ate some of it. I was actually really proud of myself. So we had the authentic ceviche experience. And we just walked around Barranco. There was a cute little cafe near our B&B and we just spent a while there and just drinking mochas and eating a brownie and just like enjoying being back in civilization. Here's a picture of us on the couch at the cafe. We're so cute. Look at us, just chilling. So that was nice. And then the next day we walked up to Miraflores and we walked along on the boardwalk basically. So it's like these cliffs overlooking the ocean. And it was really beautiful. It was kind of a gray day, but it wasn't raining, so it was okay. This is just a picture from the boardwalk looking down over the ocean. There's a lot of different like cute little parks. So this is the Parque del Amor. So it has this big statue of these lovers. It was actually really cool, and there was like these mosaics everywhere, and they had a bunch of couples' names and like quotes about love. And we went to this mall that was like in the cliff. So you had to like go downstairs to get into the mall, and then like all the stores were set in the cliffs. And it was like a really fancy mall. Like it had all these like really fancy like Western brands, like I don't know, like North Face and Hermes and like stuff like that. So it was kind of cool. And then we went to this park. It was called Kennedy Park, and I looked it up on my phone before we went, and it was like one of the things Kennedy Park is known for is it's like population of feral cats that are like cared for there. And it's true enough, there are fucking cats all over Kennedy Park. And then there's also a bunch of signs that are like, do not abandon your cat here. Like, we're taking care of these cats, but we don't want yours. They were mostly sleeping or just hanging out, and just they ignored us, and I took a bunch of pictures of them. We went to this little fast food, like Peruvian fast food place off of the parque, and it was called like La Sangucheria, which is like a sandwich shop. And it was so good. We got this sandwich and it was like this big. Like they told us we were gonna be able to split it, and we're like, okay, cool. No, like we didn't even finish it between the two of us, and we got like these fries, and the like milkshake was so good. So anyway, if you're ever in Miraflores, you should definitely go to La Sangucheria. And we kind of just chilled for the rest of the night, and we had a pretty early flight. We had to get up at like 4 again. I was like, we can't get away from it. We tried to get like our hotel to like, bro, will you get us a taxi for 4? And they're like, what time's your flight? And we're like, oh, like 6:40. Like, no, you have to leave earlier than that. So, or we wanted to leave at 4:30, but we ended up compromising and leaving at 4, which was fine. And then, yeah, we flew back to the States. We had sprung for the exit row on the way back, which was really nice. We connected in Miami, and we got back to Charleston at like 7 o'clock. And one of the nice things about traveling to the Southern Hemisphere is there's no like crazy time zone change. Like there's an hour difference from Lima, so there was no like jet lag. It was just like, hey, 7 o'clock. We'll have dinner and go to bed. We're back home. So we made it. Last day in Cusco, we did a little bit of souvenir shopping, and I got myself a magnet because I love magnets when I travel. So it says Machu Picchu, and this is like the tourism board of Peru or whatever has like designated this as like the Peru logo. Apparently this comes from like an ancient hieroglyph for water, and it says Peru, and it's got like the fabric background, and it's made of wood. So I like this one, and I was so excited about this guy. Oh my god, he's so cute. I got this little glass llama statue, and it also has the Peru logo on it. He's so cute. I love this one. It's so little, but it's so cute. He's been hanging out on my dresser. Look at this. Peru is amazing. I want to go back. There's so many places we didn't get to go, like Titicaca, Arequipa, like all those other places. More time in Cusco would have been amazing. Machu Picchu is so gorgeous. It was definitely a great trip. I'm so glad we did it. Hiking the Andes, super difficult, but totally worth it. So that was our Peru experience. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you will be back for the next video I make. And I hope you have a good one. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.